Hey everyone, Eric Vanek here of South Harmon and the America's Game Podcast. You can find me on X at Eric Vanek NFL, ERICVANEK NFL. And appreciate everybody who tuned in last week. We had a bunch of views and all that on the YouTube channel last week. So really appreciate you guys tapping in for that. If you like this content, please give a like down below, comment, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel especially. That really helps us out with all the algorithms and all that fun stuff. But appreciate if you guys could do that. If you're listening on the podcast feed, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast format you listen on to would be appreciated as well. But want to get into our Week 7 takeaways here. What were the injuries? Who do we need to be looking to pick up in our redraft leagues and also our very deep dynasty leagues? Just a little reminder, we are recording this before Monday Night Football. We have 2 games this evening. We'll have the Bucks and the Lions, and we'll have the Texans and the Seahawks later tonight as well. So any major injuries happen in those 2 games this evening, they won't be on this podcast. But let's get into it. Let's get into our Week 7 takeaways here, ready for our Week 8 waiver wire. Bye weeks, the bye-mageddon has hit. Arizona, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, Detroit, LA Rams, and Seahawks are all on bye next week. So we have 6 teams on bye. So we're going to have to dig very deep to find some guys this week. So, hey, Sunday morning, we have the Start Sit show right on this very channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You'll get the notifications, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And you'll get notified when we go live, or just look out for our tweets as well, and we'll post it as well. But come join us on Sunday morning, man, because I know, these bye-mageddons, it's some really, tough questions, and you got to dig really deep to just find somebody to help start that week for you. So we'll be here to help you out if you have any issues with that. So let's get into our injuries that happened this past week. So our first injury here that we're going to deal with is going to be Bryce Young. So Bryce Young suffered a high ankle sprain. He's already ruled out for this week. I would expect him to probably miss a few games with a high ankle sprain here for Bryce Young. Next one I wanted to monitor is going to be Jaden Daniels. So he looked to suffer a pretty gnarly looking hamstring injury, but he didn't return. He gave a thumbs up to his mom when he came out of the tent, so I'm guessing that means he's all right, but we're still going to need to monitor his status this week. That could have just been like, hey, no major injury, but doesn't mean that he didn't suffer a hamstring injury that might keep him out a week or 2 or something like that. So we have to monitor Jaden Daniels' injury, and as of this recording at 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon, we still haven't had any word yet on Jaden Daniels. Next guy up here is going to be Kendre Miller. Unfortunately, Kendre suffered a torn ACL in his knee. He is going to be out for the season. I think it's safe to drop him in redraft. I think it's probably safe to just drop him in your dynasty leagues too, and pick somebody else up, to be honest. Next guy up I want to mention is going to be Garrett Wilson. So he's day-to-day still with his knee injury. We're going to have to monitor his status going forward for this week. And then next up is going to be Brian Thomas Jr. So he was in and out of the game with a shoulder issue. Need to monitor his status, but they are on a bye this week, so you're going to have to monitor his status after the bye. Hopefully he gets a week to rest here, and he'll be okay. Next up is going to be Jalen Waddle. So Jalen Waddle fell hard at the end of the fourth quarter in the Browns game. Didn't return. We're going to have to monitor Jalen Waddle's status for this week as well. And they really need him because they are a pitiful team without him. And then Calvin Ridley missed the game with a hamstring injury. Continue to monitor him this week. He did not play. Who knows if he's going to play this week or not. They're going to need him against the Indianapolis Colts, that's for sure. And then last on the wide receivers is Luke McCaffrey. So he landed hard on his head, neck area. We're going to have to monitor his status. I don't know if he's going into concussion protocol or whatnot, but it looked pretty gnarly there too for Luke McCaffrey. So we'll have to watch out for him. Then our tight end injuries. So the first one is Darren Waller strained his pec, and he's going to miss a few weeks. Honestly, I kind of wonder if he's ever even going to play again. And I mean that based off of just his track record, quitting and stuff like that. This team is going nowhere. just how much of a train wreck this whole situation is I just kind of wonder if does Darren Waller even play again? Does he just retire again? Like, I think that's a very, very big possibility here for Darren Waller. Next guy up is going to be David Njoku. He's still day-to-day with his knee injury. According to Coach Kevin Stefanski, we're going to have to monitor his status for this week as well to see if we're going to get him back. And then last on the tight ends here is going to be Cole Kmet. So Cole Kmet suffered a back injury and did not return in the game. So hopefully this is going to be the Colston Loveland takeoff point that we've all been wanting and needing in our lives. So hopefully we get a little Colston Loveland love this week. All right, let's get into our waivers this week. So redraft quarterbacks. If you need a quarterback this week, here are some of the guys that I'm going to recommend to you. Carson Wentz versus the Chargers this week. And it's just the Chargers have gotten beat up the last couple weeks, man. Like, the Colts just beat on them. I believe it was the Giants the week before. I forget who they played 2 weeks ago. It's crazy here. But anyways, they've been giving up some passing yards. So I think it is possible here that if you need a quarterback this week, Carson Wentz could be a good player. He's got Addison. He's got Jefferson. He's got Hawkinson. He's got all these guys. He should be good. And we have to kind of monitor, does he even start this week too? So that puts a little bit of a wrinkle in there. But I think Carson Wentz is going to start. I think he could be a solid play for us this week if we need it. Next up is Michael Penix versus the Miami Dolphins at home against this useless, Miami team that just has nothing going on for them at all. Sign me up for some Michael Penix this week. Next up is going to be Joe Flacco returning to Gotham, going to the Jets to play his former team. Joe Flacco revenge game. Sign me up for some Joe Flacco this week against the Jets, who have also not been so great. Sauce Gardner left the game with a concussion as well, so we might not even have Sauce Gardner. Yeah, sign me up for some Chase and Higgins and Noah Fant against that team for sure. Then the big one, Aaron Rodgers, my guy, staying in Pittsburgh. Green Bay's coming to him, playing against his former team for the first time. Aaron Rodgers against the Packers. If you believe in anything Aaron Rodgers over his time in the NFL, you know he's going to be up for this game. This is going to be a big one for Aaron Rodgers to stick it to Green Bay. So, I'm going to throw some Aaron Rodgers into my lineups this week. This is the guy I want for sure. So, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, Michael Penix. I think those are my top three this week for redraft quarterbacks that I want to pick up. All right, let's get into Dynasty quarterback. So Marcus Mariota, if he ended up getting dropped with the Jaden Daniels injury, you might want to pick up Marcus Mariota this week. Another one here, same injury, Andy Dalton, Bryce Young injury. So Andy Dalton is going to start this week and maybe for a couple weeks. They get Buffalo this week at home. Buffalo hasn't been as great lately. They've been getting beat up, especially their secondary. So that it is somebody that, they could put up some points here on Buffalo a little bit. Next up is Tyrod Taylor. So Aaron Glenn is undecided who will be the starting quarterback this week. Let's put it plain and simple. Justin Fields is fucking awful. He's been awful for years. And I don't know why. Just because he can run the ball, people are like, oh, let's keep starting him. No, the guy fucking sucks. So with Tyrod Taylor, I think if he's available, you got to pick him up. So let's go with Tyrod Taylor this week. Quinn Ewers. So with Quinn Ewers, he got in there in the fourth quarter. He was active ahead of Zach Wilson. There was no Zach Wilson injury or anything that I saw. But they put Quinn Ewers in above Zach Wilson this week. So maybe that's a quarterback change here. If Quinn Ewers is available, that might be somebody you want to pick up. And just in case, Tua suffers another bad injury or just Tua sucks, which he does. And, so you might want to pick up Quinn Ewers. And then last but not least, he probably isn't available in many leagues, but if he is, Jacoby Brissett, he continues to play well without Kyler. Kyler could come back this week. No, they're on bye this week, so Kyler's probably coming back next week. But hey, Kyler can get re-injured here for sure. Jacoby Brissett, definitely somebody worth holding on to, in my opinion. All right, next up is going to be the redraft running back. So Devin Neal, he is going to be the new backup running back for the Saints. With the Kendre Miller injury, Devin Neal will get his shot as the Saints backup. And Kendre Miller was getting used quite a bit. I don't know. I'm going to guess Kamara is just going to pick up more of the scraps. It's probably going to be like 80-20 compared to Kendre was out snapping Alvin Kamara a few times this year. So I would expect Kamara to get like an 80-20 split here. But hey, Devin Neal could be somebody, if you're in a really deep league, he could be worth a pickup. He's probably not out there in a lot of Dynasty leagues. Dynasty leagues definitely picking him up. Next up is Kyle Monaghanai. 31 snaps this week, 45% of the snaps, 10 routes. He had 2 targets, 2 catches for 13 yards, 13 carries, 81 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he played half the snaps there for the Bears. And I know DeAndre Swift was dealing with an injury, but Swift played really good. Monaghanai played really good. He's worth a pickup right now. Like, Roschon Johnson's on a milk carton, guys. Like, he had 1 snap, 1 carry this week for Roschon. That is it. So it is Monaghanai for sure. And if he's available out there, I would definitely pick him up as a, an injury away guy for sure. Dynasty running back. So Amir Abdullah continues to be the backup running back to own for the Colts. 5 snaps, 2 routes, 1 target, 1 catch for 8 yards, and 2 carries for 19 yards this week. So Amir Abdullah is over DJ Giddens right now, and that's a shame. I really like DJ Giddens, but they trust Amir Abdullah a little bit more right now. But I think Giddens will eventually get a shot here. But yeah, Amir Abdullah is somebody in a deep Dynasty league you want to pick up. Next up is D'Ernest Johnson. So the Cardinals picked him up once they had all their injuries, and he was active for the first time this week over Amari DiMercato, who was out. But he played 14 snaps, which is 18%. He ran 7 routes, no targets, only had the 1 carry for 0 yards. But I just wanted to mention D'Ernest Johnson, if they're just done with DiMercato, D'Ernest Johnson might be a guy who could sneak in there in a very deep Dynasty league. All right, next up is the redraft wide receivers this week I have. So Parker Washington. They are on bye this week, so not a huge priority to pick up Parker Washington. But he took over for Dyami Brown. Dyami Brown just played a little bit. But Parker Washington led the team in snaps with 68 snaps, which is 88%. He ran 51 routes. He was targeted 10 times. 4 catches for 52 yards. So Parker Washington, definitely somebody, if you can afford to stash him, definitely I would, because he is set up really, really well here with the Jags. And then next up is Josh Reynolds. So if Garrett Wilson misses again, Reynolds is the clear number 2 on this team. Or if Wilson misses, he's the clear number 1 on this team. 58 snaps, which was 95%. He ran 42 routes, was targeted 9 times, only caught 3 of those for 29 yards. But if you need somebody for this week and Wilson misses, Josh Reynolds isn't a bad, number 1 wide receiver on the team to go and pick up, especially playing the Bengals, who are not a very good team defensively. Next up here, we are going to go with another Jets receiver, Arian Smith. 56 snaps, which was 92% of the snaps, 42 routes, 3 targets, 1 catch for 0 yards. But man, this guy can fly. He's going to have a big touchdown here at some point. They just got to get more consistent quarterback play. And if Tyrod gets in there, I definitely like Arian Smith a little bit more. So in Dynasty leagues, I definitely would pick him up. Van Jefferson is next on my list, and this is a lot to do with the Ridley injuries, and all the Titans just don't have any playmakers right now. But 45 snaps, 85% of the snaps for Jefferson, 32 routes, 4 targets, caught all 4 for 41 yards. So he is like their veteran wide receiver that they are trusting right now with Cam Ward, with all these young guys that they're playing. And speaking of their young guys, next up is Chimere DK. 30 snaps, which is 57%. He has replaced Tyler Lockett in the slot, so DK is their new slot receiver. 26 routes, 4 targets, 4 catches for 70 yards, and he caught that big touchdown, his first of his career. So really nice to see DK, a guy that I really liked and pounded the table for all off season, finally show up and make a play. Next up here is going to be little Jordan Humphrey. So 74 snaps, 96% of the snaps on 74, 34 routes. So he was out there blocking quite a bit. 1 target, 0 for 0. How you play 74 snaps and only get one target is beyond me, but better days are ahead for little Jordan Humphrey. He is going to be somebody that they're going to have to rely on with all these injuries right now, especially with Slayton out. So little Jordan Humphrey, definitely want to pick him up. Next up is going to be Pat Bryant of the Broncos. So if he happens to be out there in a dynasty league, 42 snaps, which is 51%, 25 routes, 4 targets, only 1 catch for 6 yards. But man, they're using 4 wide receivers right now, and Pat Bryant is just getting more snaps and more snaps and more snaps every single week. So if he happens to be out there, he's an injury away from having a pretty significant role on this Broncos offense. Next up is Anthony Gould. So they have a lot of injuries they're dealing with the Colts right now. Josh Downs missed. Ashton Dulin missed this week. 39 snaps, 65% of the snaps, 23 routes, 1 target, 1 catch, 3 yards. He played in the slot for Downs, so if Downs misses again, Gould could be their slot receiver. But A.D. Mitchell, man, like 5 snaps. Like it is, we'll get to him here in a little bit, but Anthony Gould sneaking in there as somebody that if you need a body, he could be somebody you could pick up. All right, let's get to the next guy, which is Zay Jones. 41 snaps, 54% of the snaps, 24 routes, 2 targets, 2 catches for 67 yards. He continues to make plays here for the Cardinals, and he has supplanted Greg Dortch for sure. So Zay Jones, definitely worth a pickup, even though they're on a bye. Next guy up here I want to talk about is Robbie Chosen. So they had the McCaffrey injury. Obviously, Debo's out. McLaurin's out. They're missing a ton of guys, so they've had to scrape for some wide receivers. So Chosen, his first game action here for Washington, he played 33 snaps, which was 49%, 22 routes, led the team with 4 catches for 36 yards on his 4 targets. So, yeah, Robbie Chosen, if McCaffrey misses, Debo misses, McLaurin misses, Robbie Chosen's going to be in the starting lineup here. So Robbie Chosen could be somebody you could pick up here. Next up is Jalen Lane from Washington as well. He played 46 snaps, which was 69%, 30 routes, 5 targets, 3 catches for 60 yards. If he happens to be out there and all these guys miss again, I think Jalen Lane is definitely somebody you need to pick up. And then last but not least, David Sills. So he has kind of replaced Casey Washington, Kadarius Hodge, Ray McLeod. Something's going on behind the scenes there. I wonder if they just cut him. But 29 snaps, 45% of the snaps. He was the clear number 3 receiver. 22 routes, didn't get any targets or anything. But I just wanted to mention David Sills as somebody out there that could be worth a pickup if you just need a body, basically. All right, let's go into our redraft tight ends for the week. So Noah Fant, 52 snaps, 68%, 4 targets, 4 catches, 44 yards, 1 touchdown for Noah Fant this past week. And with Mike Gesicki going to IR, Fant has pretty much taken over that receiving tight end role here for the Bengals. Tanner Hudson did miss 2, so that helped. But yeah, 68% of the snaps here for Noah Fant. That's more like it and what I want to see. And with Flacco slinging the ball, that's definitely who I want. Maybe the pickup of the week, if he's available in your leagues, Oronde Gadsden. So I've been talking about this guy for, back in the summer when I was talking about him after the draft. This is a guy I really liked from college. 60 snaps, 79% of the snaps. He ran 47 routes, 9 targets, 7 catches, 164 yards, and a touchdown for Oronde Gadsden. So he is a big-time tight end this week. If he's available, you're spending your waiver claim on him. You're going to get Oronde Gadsden. Next up here, we're going to go to the Dynasty tight end. So this is 2 Miami guys, with Darren Waller probably missing a couple weeks, if not the rest of the year. Julian Hill, he led the team in snaps. 35 snaps, 60%, 17 routes, 2 targets, 1 catch, 1 yard. He is more of the blocker type. He's in there to block, but he is going to run some routes too. It's not like he's not going to run some routes and get some catches, but he is not their designated receiving tight end. It's going to be Tanner Connor. And Tanner Connor, 18 snaps, 31% of the snaps, 13 routes, 3 targets. He has a 1 catch for 28 yards. So if I have to choose for fantasy, it's Connor, but Julian Hill might get a couple, catches here and there where you're like what am I doing here? To be honest, do I want any Miami tight ends? No. I don't want anybody on this team other than Achane. The rest of this team is fucking garbage. So I'm avoiding those guys. Last tight end here is going to be Daniel Bellinger. So 52 snaps, 68% of snaps. Only ran 17 routes, but was targeted 4 times, 3 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Bellinger, they are playing a lot more 2 tight end sets with all these wide receiver injuries and stuff. So Bellinger is definitely somebody in a best ball league or a deep dynasty league I definitely don't mind picking up right now and seeing what happens. And then the last but not least, our What the Fuck Are We Doing Here, Man segment, brought to you by my boy Dynasty Barry. The 4-way fuckfest at tight end for the Rams continues. Now they're using all 4 of them like equally, like 20 snaps, 20, 20, 20. And it is, what are we doing here? I can't play a Rams tight end the rest of the year. I really can't. Like, best ball, sure, you don't have to pick when they are, but as far as like starting one in a lineup league, there ain't a chance in hell I'm starting a Rams tight end. And then the last but not least, A.D. Mitchell. The Colts are down 2 wide receivers, Ashton Doolin, Josh Downs. He plays 5 snaps. What the fuck are we doing, Colts? I know they won. They've been kicking ass. A.D. Mitchell is a super talented player. Yeah, he made a dumb mistake a couple weeks ago. Like, you got to play this guy. Like, he helps you win games. Like, I don't know. Something's going on there, too. Maybe that guy needs a fresh start. Maybe he's a trade deadline candidate, which, the trade deadline's coming up here soon. But, man, it is, brutal. You got to definitely be playing A.D. Mitchell, so. But that is going to do it for this week's Waiver Wire podcast, guys. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff for us on YouTube. And I will be back next week for the Week 9 Waiver Wire show to help you guys out. Start sit on Sundays. Make sure you guys check that out. America's Game Pod. Didn't drop this past week. Had some minor scheduling issues, but it'll be back this week. Check out patreon.com/South Harmon. Like, come join the Discord. Cheap as $1, tier. You can join and trade advice, start sit questions. The community is just always going off. Like, you talking football all day long. It is a great community. I'm happy to be a part of it. And, definitely worth checking out. $8 tier gets you to our Dynasty ranks, which I'm going to be talking about this week on America's Game as well. So make sure you guys check that out, man. Like, get that $8 tier, you can get to our Dynasty ranks and see where we're ranking these guys, especially if you're going to do a mid-season startup league where, I know a lot of people, like, at the halfway point, they do a new startup league and play out the rest of the year and then, for next year. So I think that's really cool to hopefully help you guys with some Dynasty ranks, because I know some people want to get to the season. They don't, really update their Dynasty ranks. So definitely would check that out. Appreciate all our viewers, all that. At Eric Vanek NFL on X. Please follow me there. And we will be back next week for Week 8. We'll see you guys later.